can introduce themselves.
Martin Aviola.
Long-term veteran of Mattel and was a key designer on the vintage line.
Back in the day.
Back in the day, yes. And Martin helped start up classics. And
I'm Terry Higuchi. I'm a product designer on the classics line.
Namesake of the Higuchi 1114 blaster rifle that comes with Queen Marlena. You want us to mic it for video, or you can hear everything?
Yeah, we can hear.
Okay, so I guess with the limited audience, we'll just do it by hand raise and we'll answer questions. So please, take it away.
Thank you. I have two. One.
Can everyone? I'm sorry. Can everyone hear, or do we need to mic the questions? Okay.
Okay. My first question is about characters like the Griffin or like Swiftwind. Will they be getting play bases?
Ooh.
Not included with them, but it's definitely, yeah, I mean, I think doing better flight, like doing a pack of flight stands is something we've talked about.
Yeah, actually, when we did Wind Raider, the stand was so cool, like it made the product almost. So we thought about that for like Swiftwind, but then to do that, you'd have to do like a hole or something, and that kind of doesn't look good. So yeah. Clip, you want a clip on? Yeah, it'd be a pretty big clip though. So
yeah, that's fine.
Clip sold separately.
It's a good idea. It's a good idea. Like maybe
like
you could come up with something where you sell just stands for like that'll clip onto like even Battle Cat would be really cool. Or Swiftwind. That'll be that's a good idea.
Clip like thing. Yeah.
We'll buy it.
Yeah. Okay. Great suggestion.
And my other question is about the Grayskull stands. Some people have had issues with the ankles. Once somebody stands on a Grayskull stand, after a while they can fall over. Is there going to be any kind of brace or a clip for the waist or around the leg or something for a classic character to stay out in stands or with future Grayskull stands? Something kind of hold them up a little bit.
Right now, the Snake Mountain stands are going to be pretty much like the Grayskull stands. They're just different aesthetic. But yeah, we'll look into that if you think that's something. You need a brace or something.
That could also be like another pack. We could do, instead of doing sculpted stands, we could just look at doing some kind of clear clip thing.
Is it because you're trying to pose it in a really dynamic pose?
Right.
Or what's the...
Well, I was actually asking for someone else. But, he said it was more about weak ankles and like
My sheer is like a drunk sorority girl. She just
Oh, you gotta like that. No, the figure should be the figure should be tuned so they stand. So if it's something like the articulation is weak, that shouldn't be like that.
We came up with stands previously that were just like on clip on the waist. How'd you guys like those? Were those?
Yeah, those are great. People, yeah, I bought a bunch of those.
Those are still available, aren't
Yeah.
they? Yeah. So you can buy them right now. There you want a clip stand? Oh, they are sold out? All right. Well, they may have sold out. All right. Well, maybe it's time for Flight Stand 2.0.
Yeah.
All right. We hear you.
Stands are awesome.
Believe me, stands are way easier, I think, logistically than doing a figure. Yes? No?
Yeah.
I mean, from the amount of design work. So, yeah, we could definitely look into that. All right. Right in front.
Oh, sweet. I was going to ask, I know that with the 12-inch figures like Titus and Megator, that you have to use rotocast. I know that we're used to the 7-inch figures, like being like, you know, with the articulated bicep. Is it because it's made of rotocast you're unable to have that articulation point? Like, because I would figure since I noticed that with the Green Lantern Hal Jordan 12-inch that's in the Toys R Us, it's like that too. Like the smaller figures have more articulation than the bigger figures. Is that because of the material or like logistics?
There's a whole lot of different reasons. I mean, I worked on the first Titus, and what was the other one guy? Megator. There was zero articulation. There was 5-point articulation.
Yeah.
So the stuff that Terry and Scott are doing now are like, how many points articulation? Like a ton, right?
Yeah, they still have elbows and stuff.
They've got all kinds of stuff. I can't answer to that. But normally, points of articulation are how much money can we afford?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Every point of articulation you have to remember is labor. Right? And we all know Chinese labor is going up and everything, blah, blah, blah. So the more articulation points, the more expensive the figure. The less articulation, then you get your slugs. So
when we put out Titus, that was early in the line, and we really didn't feel comfortable putting out like an $80 figure.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to get to Granomir, who we priced at about $80, but to do that much articulation, Titus would have been about double the cost.
Okay.
And we just didn't feel that, honestly, that we could move enough units at that price. So we said, you know what, we're going to just do less articulation to make them $40.
Either that or Stay Puft Marshmallow.
Oh, yeah. Love the Stay Puft.
He goes like this.
Does he?
Yeah.
He can move his head like
he's not a marshmallow ninja. It's okay.
Yeah.
No.
Got it.
No, it's cool. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Sure. Yeah, I saw your hand. Get you next.
Got a couple questions here that have come up on He-Man.org, and they're probably actually more for Terry. First one being about the Star Sisters, from the sculpt to, the original sculpt to the toys that are shown on here. There seems to be a change in the face of Starla, and then the crotch pieces seem a little larger. Can you comment on that?
Well, there's certain things that happen between when the sculpt is given to me and when it goes to production. So certain things have to be adjusted so that it could be made. And those particular figures, I believe, used a new body. So there's some little differences between the production one and the one the Horseman made, just so that we could produce it. So that probably accounts for some of the adjustment you have to see.
Okay. And on the face, it looks like the eyes are tilted straight.
It could. The one you're looking at, you're talking about the one in the case.
Correct.
That's like the first like FEP sample.
Yeah.
It's not final deco. It's basically that's like the latest in development, but it's not even close to production yet.
Okay.
So like if you saw our presentation yesterday, you saw that whiplash slide, all the different. This is the point where we're making all those kind of comments, like eyes aren't big enough, or are pointing in the wrong direction, or the sloppy paint here, or that kind of stuff. So that's so not final. What you're seeing in the case, it's like a work in progress.
Well, that's a good thing. There's another thing that. The second question is actually about the sorceress, and it's probably a safety thing, but the paint on her wings have grown a lot since the first sculpt. Can you comment on that one?
Yeah, that was something that the Horsemen started with, and they are attached first to the biceps of her, and we just couldn't do that. Like we had to glue them in, so we couldn't glue them in such a small spot on the bicep. So we had to move it to the shoulder. We also wanted to keep it so that when you raise the arms up, the wings, since they're segmented, didn't all fall down over time. So that the actual hinge has a locking mechanism. So as you pull the arm up, it'll pull each segment up.
And that's why you got
and keep it there. Yeah, we try to get it as reduced as possible, but it still has to be that way.
Yeah, one thing that you guys will see is when we do get stuff from the Horseman or whatever vendor, it's cool. If it was just a resin cast, then it's not a problem. But when you have to think about production, right, and things keeping, their pose and everything, or a wing going up and down the way it articulates, you have CPI, you've got all kinds of people that come in and engineering that tell us, you guys can do this, but you can't do that. For radiuses and just things articulating, and we have to make, sometimes the visuals have to suffer a little bit for what they call the dependability, even though it's collector and above, right?
Good. Thanks.
Yeah, just one last comment on what Martin is saying. A lot of fans always comment on, like, the prototype we saw from the Horseman looked like this, and the pins were so tiny versus the production. It's because we're taking a sculpt and turning it into a commercial product, a toy. As Martin said, there's safety issues, there's logistical engineering aspects. Yeah. So you're never going to see the Horseman sculpt and the Horseman pins translated into a commercial product. They're totally different things. It's a sculpt versus a plastic, movable, articulated commercial toy. So there's going to be a difference. There's always going to be. Well, actually, I'm sorry.
PVC versus ABS.
It's a little stiffer though. Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to sit her. She'd be.
Oh, you're talking about the middle piece?
Yeah, the back.
The middle piece is stiff. Yeah, the middle piece is stiff. So
we were talking about that yesterday. If we ever did a throne, maybe we'd have like a slot where it would like slide in or
cool.
something.
Like
because it's not removable. So if we ever did a throne, we'd figure out a way to like.
Yeah.
Do it. Well, tool it. Yeah. Again, it's like tooling a chair is like there's a bunch of. We were talking about like an all chair line because you could do like Zodak's throne and Grayskull's throne and Skeletor's throne and the old Castle Grayskull throne.
One throne fits all.
Yeah. And it'd be cool, but there's a lot of even a non-articulated chair would take like a tool, a lot of. You're talking, several like $10,000, $20,000 investment, and it's tough to do that stuff.
We're
planning the 2013 line.
Yeah. No, I mean,
I need to do do the subscriptions like you're doing right now to do it again the following year.
Oh yeah, well, the line is based around selling subscriptions because we need to know we're guaranteed to sell what Martin said, an MOQ, a minimum order quantity. So the subscriptions basically help us go to management and say, hey, give us the resources and money to keep this line going because I've already pre-sold the MOQ or above the MOQ. So that's why we need the subscription because I need to go to my bosses and Martin's boss and Terry's boss and say, it's worth giving us resources to do this line because we can bring in X amount of money guaranteed. So yeah, at this point, the line is completely dependent on the sum. Day of sales are like icing on the cake. Yeah. Not that we don't love them, but I mean, it's good. We would love to sell more. Yeah. Wait, I think you had, hold on one second. I think you had your hand up first, and then we'll get to you.
Yeah. A little bit bigger. Let's say you had that meteorite and you wanted to do a principal figure. Could you make the heads interchangeable with master figures?
Oh my god, that's true.
No, only because they're slightly different scale. Masters figures are bulkier and bigger. So yeah, you couldn't do Lubick and, oh my gosh, I'm having a total...
Strickland,
thank you. Slackers. Yeah, we actually don't. We do have the back to visual license.
Yeah,
but we don't. But we don't have rights to anyone with Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd's characters.
Great Scott.
So, and at this point, we don't have plans for figures because again, we were looking into ways of doing it, but it's tough because they're each 100% tool, like a chair. So it's going to be tough. But no, we couldn't interchange Lubick and Strickland, even though it's the same actor. Yes. Oh wait, outside of you and now.
I know your slots are full, you got like him, but do you think down the line a possible metal back hero might come out?
Metal vacuum, vacuum-metalized?
The original hero figure had.
I worked on it.
Yeah.
He looked gay then. He looks gay now. I can say it. I remember when the first time I worked on it. We had in-house sculptors back then. Now all the sculpting is done outside. He's a horseman. Basically, all horsemen, right? Yeah. What you're doing. But back in the day, we had in-house sculptors. All the sculpting was done in-house, and we had tooling engineers, and tooling engineers like ruled it. And unless it fell out of the mold, and there was zero undercuts. I mean, for some reason, Hero just turned out weird, in my opinion. And every time I saw him, he just looked weird, and I don't even know why we were doing Hero. Who was Hero?
We all do it.
Who's this fucking guy? Anyways, he was Hero, and he turned out okay. We did a very limited quantity of them.
We never produced them.
Did we never produce them?
He only.
I remember seeing the sculpt. I remember seeing an FEP sample. We never produced them.
No, never came out.
You got one. You're the only one with one. I've never seen one.
I got some.
We'll bring it to PowerCon next year, maybe.
I remember he had his staff, and he had like a green thing, right?
Yeah.
And a little thing opened up like that.
Yeah.
Like a street piece.
The problem with MUM shiny material, it has to be made on a plastic that's really stiff so that it doesn't crack off. So I'm always fighting with, I don't want to make big clips on it because I think that ruins the look sometimes. So it's a balancing act. So
he has the cape, which is why it was tough to VUM because the cape couldn't be made of stiff material because the cape is attached to the tool for the armor. That was the issue.
Mm-hmm. Plus, it's also expensive. It's expensive to VUM. You got to be either ABS or styrene. Yeah, and it's an actual another process that they put it into an oven. It's like when you chrome plate something. It's the same thing. Vacuum metallizing VUM is chrome plating, and it's another 2-3 steps, and it's money. But Terry's got money.
Yeah, right. that and also wanted. Yeah. Oh, well, Hurricane Hordak, they did that, but look at the Hurricane Hordak. They made it a living hinge, so the top part doesn't have clips, but because it's a living hinge, it has to be straight. So if you look at the top of Hordak, that armor is completely straight.
Yep. Like at the shoulder.
It looks kind of weird, but it's okay because for him, there's something covering that spot, so it's okay. But for Hero, it gets so much gold, and I want all the gold to match. I didn't want it to be like painted, and then because painted gold never is shiny. I didn't want it to all look all different, so I wanted it to have a consistent look. So that's part of why we did it that way. So come back around.
I know that you guys were starting to go into the vehicle, like the wind rate and stuff. If you guys do go further with the line, would you do something that's motorized, kind of like the Dragon Walker?
Ooh, Dragon Walker, I remember that one.
That would be tough.
Back in the day.
Like motorized, I mean, the amount of logistical work it would take for that, there's not enough at this point, I don't think we're moving up units to justify it.
It'd be interesting to see what I can't remember what the Dragon Walker first sold for, since it was a long time ago.
Yeah, if we did that now, I mean,
if you do that now, I'm telling you, the rates, just the labor in China.
You're talking about $100 vehicle.
$100
It's not that we can't do it. It's like just
we can do anything, but you guys want to pay for it?
Are there enough people that
buy it?
Yeah.
Well, you would.
Yeah, I got one guy out there. Excuse me.
I'll buy it.
One Dragon Walker. What's up with that?
Well, again, okay, everyone here, we got 50 people. Actually, let me use this to address a point. And this question hasn't come up yet, but I'm going to use the character everyone loves on He-Man.org. Illumina. Illumina? Am I pronouncing her name right? Yeah, there's a lot of people shouting for it in this room and on He-Man.org. But we've done an independent count, looking at how many people are posting on websites like that, and Whoosh, and Action Figure Insider, and our own site, Matty Collector. Just to manage expectations as a bit of a reality check, there's about 250 of you. That's like a less, I mean, that's such a small amount compared to how many units we sell of an average figure, that yes, you guys are really loud asking for certain obscure figures, and we hear you. But until we see I mean, we ran a poll and 171 people voted, yes, I wanted that. 171. We'd have to see, I'll throw a number, about 5,000 individual unique users. If there were 5,000 people, here's your challenge, I'll throw it out to you. You got this on video?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Here's my Uncle Sam moment. If you get 5,000 unique individual people,
we want you
to say that they want a character as obscure as that, that's when we could give it serious consideration. For the 171 people that voted in the poll, or the 250 people that are on He-Man.org, or the 500 plus people that are daily on Matty Collector, while the internet gives people a voice, and people tend to be, I use this term, louder than numerous. So when the same 25 people are posting over and over again that Illumina is the most demanded character of all time, only with 25 people, it's like that. We need to see way, like I said, 5,000 minimum. So you get that, there's your challenge. You guys get that, we'll bump her up. It's not that we couldn't do her. She's just too obscure, and there's too few people being very loud and asking for her. So hopefully that clears up. There's no bad blood, there's no agenda. It's just, it's numbers.
Logistics.
Yeah. Okay, wait. I think you were next, and then we'll come, or no, was there someone over here? I just want to order. Okay, we'll just go this way.
Oh, okay, cool. I have two quick questions. Actually, it has to do with figure that you showed at Toy Fair and WonderCon, and then the second question goes into that too. So we saw that 12-inch Movie Master Hal Jordan with the line of base. Is that still coming out?
Oh yeah. Oh, not one of my Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Oh, that's definitely coming. I think it's coming in November.
Oh yeah.
It's an amazing toy. Like my real job is running the Green Lantern line. So anything I can do to pimp that.
Yeah.
And you'll pimp that.
Yeah. It's a 12-inch Hal Jordan. It's got the voice of Ryan Reynolds saying the oath. You take the ring and you wave it in front of the chest, and it lights up just like in the movie. And it crackles. We're going to have a video on that showing how it all works. Totally coming. I think it's pardon?
It's 80, right?
$80. Believe me, it's an amazing toy. Bill Beneke, who works next to Terry, worked on part of the line. He was the main designer on it. Yeah, it's coming.
Sweet. And that actually goes to that. Since you've been doing like figures like Titus and Megator and even like with the Ghostbusters and Superman movie masters, have you ever thought, even if you just use the Titus bodies, making like a 12-inch He-Man and Skeletor, like how we had from like the 2000X, like a long time ago, that were really hard to find?
The issue, you're talking about like the 12-inch bucks we have for like General Zod? Yeah. The problem is those are not He-Man bucks.
Oh yeah, I mean like for like Titus, to use that for He-Man.
To use it, yeah. Oh, well, yeah, we could.
I would totally buy 12-inch He-Man.
It gets a little, I think Terry and I have talked about it actually, it gets a little dicey. Only because of the details of the figure. I know Terry's got something we can't talk about yet, but it's all about the details, And if you have a detail in Titus that you really wanted to get, but it's not a detail in He-Man, you got to resculpt it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really want to be true to the vision, sometimes you just can't reuse those tools. You think you can because an arm's an arm, but it's really not. It's all a big piece of the puzzle, and you want that puzzle to be beautiful when it's done right.
And something like that also comes down to SKU count.
Yeah.
We only have so many SKUs for the classics line.
Right.
And if I gave one of them up to do a 12-inch, that would take away from doing like a Griffin.
Yeah.
Would you rather have a Griffin or a slush head, or would you like to have a 12-inch He-Man?
12-inch He-Man.
That is.
All right, we're canceling Griffin.
No.
But he said.
No.
No? See, okay, there you go. This is exactly
Well,
what.
I mean, you can do 2015. I'll wait.
All right. Well, he'll wait. You guys can fight it out in the parking lot. I'm going to go this way, and I'll come back to you guys.
Thank you, though. Thank you.
It's just I respect and glad that you're addressing the new thing. I'm confused though, because if you have a subscription and it's pre-sold, you could put an obscure character in, like you've done with Vicor and Emo Man and future possible like one-shot mini comic people, something like Igor, where she's not a lot of people know who she is, but she is a cool design. I mean, I don't know that figure would sit on the virtual shelf for very long, just because it's cool. So, I mean, if you were to produce her as like a bubble power She-Ra SKU, where she's not, included, that might be risky. To me, that sounds like a risk. But if it's a pre-sold thing, is that not something that's perhaps better consideration?
We'll put it this way. If we were to use a SKU for that character, would you rather have her, or would you rather have Ram Man or Flutterina or Mermista or that? Well, that's my point exactly. Is that there's characters that are much more into. I mean, I know like Vicor, there wasn't like this overwhelming people screaming, "I want Vicor," but when he came, he also had a lot of history. That image had been out there for years. Right. At the end of the day, I'm gonna say Illumina, right? I keep mispronouncing her name. And that's not to be misinterpreted.
You're right.
But she appeared as a pinup, as an alternate cover for an issue that never shipped. That's her only appearance. I think she was also in the background of like 2 panels in that Faceless one issue. It's just, we could put her up, but there'd be the 250 of you guys out there that those of you in this room represent. You guys would want this character, and you love it, but the thousands of other units we sell, be like, who is this?
I don't know half the people he's talking about.
Yeah. Like Martin, it's a good example.
This guy's tooling stuff like, pretty soon he's going to tool a guy that drives a shuttle.
It's exciting. The new stuff you've done, I think, with some of the bios and some of those newer type characters, it's very exciting for us. So I think anything new becomes like what could you do with this? What new story could you make?
Hey, you got 6 new characters coming in 2030 that are brand new. Photog's been around, but 5 guys that are 100% new. And you guys have been asking for that. And people have also been comparing her to like, well, you'll do Spectre or Drago Man, but not her. But you have to realize they're totally different camps. The concept and the marketing behind a Spectre or a Drago Man or Terry's figure or Jeff's figure are the fact that they're being promoted as all new characters. She's not. She's an existing character, just a very obscure one. Cool as the design is, there were 171 people who voted in our poll if we should do her. It's like I said, you get 5,000 people, we'll do it. We'll move her up in the. I mean, she's on our master list of characters that we could do. We're just like I said. Do we put off doing Ram Man or Castle Spella or any of the guys you guys have been asking, or Dragster to do her first? There you go. You answered your own question. So maybe we'll get, sure, once we run through a few more years worth of characters, she'll become more in demand.
I guess there's a pecking order.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And she's just, unfortunately, she's not at the top of the list, and only because people would it's going to be hard to justify that we did her before we did, Flutterina even. So, yeah, people are waiting. Let's go this way, and then we'll come back to you guys. So,
just to, for numbers that low that it, we didn't even reach the quota or
not even close. They were so, you have to realize with Ghostbusters, we did the 4 guys, and we've done quite a few secondary variants of them and secondary characters. Walter Peck, we've done Tully, we're doing Dana. There's just, again, it's very similar like the 250 people I spoke of. The internet, the guys who were hardcore Ghostbuster fans, like, oh my god, I'd buy the mayor, and I'd buy, Peter wearing a scarf from this scene. That's great, but most people really just want the 4 guys, and then kind of call it a day. Maybe the Terror Dogs. The line's not dead. We still have plans to keep it going. We just had to go from 6 SKUs to 4 in 2012 and end the subscription. But we're still doing 6-inch figures. You're still getting 4 characters, including 100% tooled Dana. Ghostbusters is still very, very strong. We just have a much, much more limited pool of characters. There are thousands of DC characters, hundreds of Motu. tens of Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
so, you know, when people also complain that, oh, you know, we're cranking out, you know, Lab Coat Ray and, you know, Ready to, or, you know, Courtroom Peter, whatever, those low-tooled figures help pay for the 100% tooled characters because everything is banked in an annual tooling budget divided by annual sales. So if we can crank out 3 figures that are a head and a ghost and 1 character that's 100% tool, they balance each other out. So when people like, you know, say like, why aren't you doing the real Ghostbusters or more ghosts? All of those are 100% tool. We cannot fill a whole line with 100% tooled figures at the quota we sell them at.
Yeah.
Honestly, I kind of said this yesterday about Motu, you're getting Ghostbuster toys. There's no new movie, at least not immediately. I mean, Sony keeps saying they're working on one. You know, it's like, I'm so excited we have the 4 guys. We've got the, you know, Vigo, you know,
Yeah.
like, we got some good guys out there. You got a 23-inch Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Awesome.
For God's sake.
Yeah, like if we don't get to, if we don't get to the mayor and we don't get to, you know, slime-covered Peter, you know, or we'll get him. But you know what I mean?
Will be fine.
Yeah.
I'll be happy with you.
Ecto 1?
Oh.
If a movie comes out, we could definitely look at doing an Ecto 1. But without a movie, without like Walmart and Target being interested in the line, it's going to be really tough to tool something like a play set or a vehicle.
Yeah.
You know.
Nice.
The Wind Raider, I cannot believe we're doing a vehicle.
That is
Well,
so
you put that
cool.
many paint-offs on. Yeah, it's covered with paint. It's
That's
awesome.
why it's $45.
Thank you.
Good price.
All right, we're going this way, and then we'll come back around.
Now that you have Filmation rights, is the collector a possibility? Skeletor ship?
Again, like that huge giant vehicle, like with the pincher arms. I think remembering correctly.
Maybe not the scale.
I would love to see, like, you know, when Micro Machines did that great Star Wars line years ago. I think that was so cool for Masters. But again, all those would be 100% tool, like those little guys. We have the rights to it, but
It's iconic.
you know, so is team. You know, yeah. I don't know. Maybe yes, we have the rights. Would we do it? I don't know.
We got the bracelet first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about we do Illumina first, then we do.
Yeah. It's fine.
All right, we'll go this way, then we'll go across it. Yeah.
My question is about how deep in Filmation are you going to go? Because, you know, we have those, you know, the ones that everybody wants, Scorpia or Seahawk or Chakotay, but how deep and how often are you going to be, like, going into the Filmation wells to, like, are we going to get, like, a General Sunder or, like, I don't know, something like a one-off?
Yeah, you'll get about 1 to 3 Filmation characters a year, just like any other faction. You know, like New Adventures, Princess of Power, that kind of thing. We know the ones everyone wants. Luckily, when we acquired the Filmation rights, there's already been years of fans posting wish lists. So we're well aware. You know, it's not like a shocker that people want Chakotay and Seahawk, and you know, we know the guys you guys want. We're going to do them first. We're not going to like churn out, you know, I mean, well, Balak actually comes up a lot, but you know, like, I'm trying to think of a good example. What? Yeah, you know, we're not going to put exactly with the birthday cake.
Yeah.
You know, he's not going to come out next week. You know, we're going to hit the big ones. You know, we could, if there's someone that comes up online, you know, that just gets so much ridiculous amount of requests, but we kind of already know. I mean, you guys have been posting Filmation requests for years. So we know who you want. You'll get them. You know. All right.
And Blue Beetle from JLU. I could never find them. Do you guys ever sell them on your website?
So there's 6 remaining 3-packs. Now, we brought them all the way up to package completion so that if we got enough sales from the 7-pack that's going on sale next month, we could go into production easily. It's totally in your hands. We have to see how many of those packs we sell of the final 7. If that does well, we would love to just turn the machines on and crank out those last 6 3-packs. If it sells as well as every other JLU item we've sold on Matty Collector except Lobo sells, then no. So far, no item except Lobo has done even close to the number we need to do. So again, that's a perfect example of fans being louder than they are numerous. The JLU fans online are like screaming more, 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 and then we put stuff out there and it just doesn't even come close to the units we need. If we produced them at the quota we're selling them, you'd be paying almost triple the price. The lower the production run, the higher the premium we have to pay to produce it, and we have to pass that cost on to the consumer. So based on the number of units of a JLU item we sell, of every JLU, from Doom Patrol to Parademons, we have sold within 100 units, pretty much. So we know the exact number of fans there are, and it's nowhere close to what Martin says is the MOQ.
But I mean, why like mountains of Red Tornado and Captain Atom and Martian Manhunter in a store rather than putting the Blue Beetle and
pulled out first.
I mean, those characters came out years ago when the line was a bit more aimed at kids. I mean, anything at retail is going to be aimed at kids first and foremost. We just didn't get to him, you know. You're getting like you guys got so many JLU characters after the show is off the air for like 5 years and like kept going again. Like I know I keep falling back on it. Well, okay, sure, but how many? We've done like 150 JLU characters. I mean, he was not even on the show.
I want to tool his father-in-law.
You know, there's only so many collector products you can do for the limited audience. You know.
Lots of characters weren't on the show that you guys made, though.
Yes, and you know what? We didn't get to Ted Cord. There's also hundreds of characters we didn't get to. And
You shouldn't have shown it to me, Scott.
all right, Dave, done. We do try very hard not to show figures until we're 100% sure they're going through. With those JLU ones, we actually had orders from Target booked, and then they canceled. So we can't do anything about that. If Target had kept those orders, it would have gone through.
Yeah, Target. Oh.
So, yeah, blame Target. Josh Gannett's going to kill me. Okay. Yes. I don't manage Voltron.
Oh.
Do either of you work on Voltron?
Negative.
Now, all
right. I like
We're
Voltron.
Someone asked a question about a 2008 variant, and you said that one had been bumped for Filmation. Was it for the exclusive, or was it?
So, yeah, I know what you're talking about. So we had, the 2012 line was set before we got the Filmation rights, and then when we got them very late in the game, we said, okay, well, we definitely want to get one out by Comic-Con.
Right.
So we essentially mixed things up, and yes, one of the slots for 2012 that was going to go to a 2000X variant wound up going, we had to move that one out to a different year and do a Filmation, because we wanted to get more Filmation characters out. When we looked at the full year and said, who could we move out? You know, we didn't want to lose Sorceress, for example. You know, so we looked at the full year and said, if we want to get Filmation out, we were not the weaker, but at least to diversify the line, and it was just one that, you know.
So is that the exclusive then, or is that like an upcoming variant?
It's something you haven't seen yet. Yeah. Yeah, and then we'll come.
Oh yeah.
Well, is there ever any possibility to take figures made into
Yeah, that's a good question. I know what you're talking about. Is it do you play the game, or do you just mainly collect the
I
figures?
mainly collect now. I played a while back, but now I collect.
Okay. So you'd like to see like Masters figures in that same scale?
Yeah. Or even license to them to do as HeroClix?
Yeah.
You know, we get requests from lots of companies, you know, from Mini-Mates to Lego to HeroClix to, you know, Plush. I mean, things are coming in all the time, and we're constantly looking at, you know, we don't want to flood the market with too much product, but at the same time we want to hit things that are distinctly different form factors that don't overlap. So it's definitely, if there's enough demand, it's something we could look at. All right, there was one back there. DC Club.
For the first batch tickets for years, and you thought for a long event, it's like the last guy in the club.
Yeah, yep. Oh, yeah, he's definitely, I mean, he would fit in perfectly with that club. I know that the characters they're doing in the club are literally constantly in flux based on, you know, tooling availability, what, you know, characters DC wants to see out there. I don't remember off the top of my head where they wound up. There's only so much I can keep in my head at once, because I know the lineup has changed multiple times. We do want to get to him. There has been some pushback from DC because he's not current at all. I mean, I think he's actually dead, right? But with the new 52, who knows what's happening? Yeah. Everyone's alive again. Yeah, he's definitely, the Satellite Era one is way overdue. So is, like, I mean, Doomsday. There's a lot of characters that we really want to get to. It just takes aligning with DC. But if you're going to see him anywhere, it would be in the club. He would. I know, we're missing one guy. Hey, we did all the Superpowers characters. So, never know. All right, let's go back there, and then we'll come.
First of all, I just want to thank you guys for all the hard work you've done. First of all, I just wanted to put my support for the new Masters.
Yeah.
Creating the brand, creating something that, you know, these characters thought of this. I know a lot of figure lines, like back in the day, Marvel, like they would put the leg of a big guy in his back and stuff like that. Whereas I never got into collecting that. We've got Modularity and Multibot. If you made them and you made them actually just as a start attached to the old Modularity and Multibot, like you could start creating, more stuff. People would use their old Modularity and Multibot pieces. Because you go to any garage sale, you could find Modularity or something like that. And you could actually start to build them up, and then at some point re-release like all the pieces that maybe got one to pass.
So you want a job or what? Actually, that's a good thing you're saying. I worked on the original, Multibot was one, and Modularity was the bad guy, right? The red guy?
Oh, yeah.
Right? And I think there was actually some vacuum metallizing on the Multibot, right? And it's, modularity is good. It's a little tricky in tooling, because when you do modular stuff, you've got to make sure that everything fits into the other, and when you tool multiple bodies, you got to make sure that all the limbs fit and stuff. Tooling's it's tricky to tune that so it clicks nicely. It's a little difficult.
And doing it one at a, like you're saying, all year long, you get an arm and like you say now, you spread out all of Modulot's pieces over 12 figures. The reason that's hard is because you need them all to come together, which means you have to design him at once.
Yes.
So you'd have to really tool him together, so it doesn't work to design him and then spread the tool out over 12 figures. That makes it even harder.
That's why I say if you tooled it based on the old Modularity,
but it'd be too small. The vintage toys aren't the same scale.
Yeah. I just figured he was like.
We have planned. We figured out to put it to rest. We figured out a way to do those characters. So
I figured you guys all of this stuff. I just wanted to.
That was a good point.
Yeah, I'll show you the.
Oh, you got one?
Well, this isn't modular.
You got one, for God's sake.
No.
Jesus Christ.
All right, but you scared me. Here's the lizard
Get out of here.
Okay? Where is it? All right. Especially because nobody will be able to read it from that height, but to prove to everybody what we're doing, here's the master schedule for several years. So we
you can. It's a menu from
all I can get right there.
Bar.
We have the line worked out for many years. So we do the colors the colors of the year. So to make it easy to read. So we do that because we want to make sure each year has a good. We don't run. That's why Sorcerers is coming out in 12. We need good anchor characters. So when we say that we have the line thought out for many years, we're not making it up. It really exists. I mean,
just making it up.
I'm making it up. Here's all 300 bios.
We got it.
So
I'll see you outside.
I know, I'm gonna get mugged with this. This is my Grayskull
That's his Bible. Believe me.
Yeah.
The guy, you can't see him without this book.
I carry this everywhere. Everything's in here. Don Glutz original drafts. I got everything. So
he's telling the truth.
Yeah, it's not. We're not pulling anyone's legs. Yes, in the back.
How much is the Griffin?
How much is it? $30. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. Use that $30. So remember, there was a $60 slot. That's the Star Sisters. The Griffin is $30, and then there's two $40 slots left. One and then two. So.
I missed it.
More Martin, you don't. I mean, I know you don't.
I don't know how these people do it. I mean, you have to remember, guys, I worked on the original line. So to me, the original line, I started in 1982. So my first He-Man I designed and developed in Skeletor was the drum rotating. So it was drum rotating, battle damage. It's called battle damage in the end, right? Yeah. I called it drum rotating because that's what it was rotating drum, duh. But in a
we just used that on the Metallo figure.
Yeah. So I did from those until the line ended. But I see all these things and all these guys that they're doing. I don't know how. Terry, I walk into Terry and I say, who's this guy? Oh, this is a guy that was so tertiary, like it came out in the panel of one comic book, and it's like He-Man's, godmother. What's that? Jesus Christ! I actually tried to sit to a meeting one time when Terry was on vacation. I couldn't take it. My head was going to explode. I had to leave. They were talking about somebody's sister and cousin and everybody else. Like, I'm out of here. Right? I'm just considering me really old school, so I knew all the main characters, like the breath of the line. These guys are going way out there. They're digging really deep, so I have no idea.
That's a great thing.
What
Like all the magic is lost. Like when I started working at Mattel, like I had this picture of like, oh, I had to put good thought into this car or this like, whatever. And then I go to Martin, like, oh wait, what was the idea behind this vehicle? And he's like, oh, I just threw it together. It's like, whatever. It's like, well, there's no secret, like
no secret
thought into it or anything.
Yeah, we were in such a hurry, like boss was chasing you around, so it was like, shit, you do the bad guys, I do the good guys, okay, So that's the way really it worked. Dave Wolfram did most of the bad guys, and thinking after the reline, I brought Wolfie on. When we did the dinosaurs. When did we start the dinosaurs?
87.
Was it
The
87?
He-Man dinosaurs?
Yeah,
that was 86, 87.
Because I remember we started with the, we brought it back for remember that mechanism we used for,
the Tyrannosaurus, with the ejecting.
With the ejecting thing, we used it for Max Steel. Terry and I right now work on the line that's called Max Steel, and it's only in Latin America, and we bought back, and we bought back, we did some great mechanisms back in the day in He-Man, and we were brainstorming one morning for Max Steel, and I always loved that little bomb that came out of that T-Rex. And all it was, I remember seeing it. I think I went into downtown or something. It was just this little thing it was a spider. A little spider, and it had little legs, right? And that was so cool because when it took off, it reminded me of like the face hugger in Alien. Yeah. Right. So I used it in that as that bomb that came out of that Tyrannosaurus Rex. It was purple. It was Skeletor's vehicle.
Yep. Yeah.
And there it is. Bingo. Yeah, he's got this guy here. So we bought, you bring back mechanisms. So we bought that mechanism back for Austin's Toxoid. Yeah, so the exact same mechanism. You wind them all up, and we made them into 2 Toxoids. It actually launched 2 Toxoids, exact same mechanism. So again, old school, different stuff, but it was fun stuff. Mechanisms. We always try to bring back mechanisms. In the stuff that Terry's doing now and what you're doing, no mechanism, but they're just cool sculptures. A ton of paint. I'm jealous of the paint that these guys have. Yeah, Terry. I go into Terry's office. I go, dude, you got this much deco on this windwing? Are you serious? And he's just got all kinds of deco. And here I am with my little Max Steel. We can't even afford to paint the hair. We got to mold it different. Jesus. So, anyways, that's just my paint. I'm just sharing it with you.
To answer, that's the question. Not it's all good info. Characters that I Filmation. I mean, I'd love to get the POP girl. Like the Scorpia and Octavia. Love to do Fangman and Datros. Icer, I think would be awesome. Especially, I mean, those guys are practically a head, which is really cool. But they're like so visually different. Strong, yeah, strong. I mean, all again the obvious ones. Like like CB wants to do Lizard Man. I mean, we all want basically the guys that you guys want. We're fans too. New Adventures. I don't really have any personal attachment to that line because I didn't.
Hey, wait a minute.
I was more into Real Girls, not Sheila at the time. But I think the Space Mutants are just more interesting visually. 2002, I mean, we kind of got to face this one in I really wanted Carnivus. We already got to him. I think Pravis would be cool, the Warlord. We have a really cool backstory for him that we developed. Did I answer? Was there another category?
I guess Princess of Power.
From the straight Princess of Power line, it would probably be Castaspella, just because that was one of the only Princess of Power toys that I had, because I stole it from my sister. She-Ra was He-Man's sister. She had a double She-Ra she got for her birthday, so she gave me the extra She-Ra, and then I stole her Castaspella just because I like that yellow world tool, the wheel thing. So I remember actually using her with Tila.
Scaring me now.
All right. Hey, I'm happily married.
It's all good.
I grew up to be a slightly well-adjusted person. Yes, behind you. The soonest, if it happened, would be 13 or 14. It's definitely not happening in 2012. We know there's a lot of fans. Fans liked it a lot. It depends on slots and development. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, I'd love to do those.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
We've been trying to do them for like 2 years.
Yeah. Actually, Bill Beneke designed the kind of style for that, so he deserves credit for that. But I'd love to see them. Those are cool.
We got our eye on it. We just I think I explained this to another fan earlier when they kept asking about other expansions of the line, whether it's Castle Grayskull or Mini Masters or whatever. A good metaphor to think about it is Classics is running on about a gas tank that's 90% full. So we don't even have enough development resources or logistics or people to really do the full line. We're basically just chugging along, every day. So expanding it to something else, we would spread us too thin. As Bilbo Baggins says, too much butter over bread. So we're doing everything we can with what we have, and we're putting everything into the 6-inch figures. If something, it's going to take something like a movie or a new TV show or something to get more public interest. So keep buying. To your guys' noise, 171 people wanting Illumina. We need more. The more of you there are, the more we can do. I'm rambling. Okay, next question.
How would you sell us those Mini Masters?
With a gun to your head, saying, buy it!
Part of the classics line?
You had to ask.
There's a lot of, probably 2 packs, I'm guessing.
But is it going to be, would it be online? Would it be part of the classics?
It could be anything from a retail line to an online thing to a convention item. There's unlimited potential. It just, like I said, at this point we don't have enough resources to do anything but the 6-inch. There's a lot of ways we could do that. Anything you want to?
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of want to see them out in the stores because I think that would help to
It'd be a fun one.
Gain more awareness again because you only see the 6-inch on Matty. But that's
again, you have to realize when you're talking about the big 3, which I mean mass, you gotta get the buy-in.
Oh, you don't count Kmart anymore?
If you don't get the buy-in with mass, you're not going to get it. So if you don't get the big buy-in, it's not worth it to tool it. You get that MOQ again. So you have to be able to get the big 3, the big 4 if you count Kmart, whatever. You have to get that mass selling. If you don't get that mass selling, the numbers don't work out.
As passionate as you guys are, the 171 of you that voted, that's the internet. Just creates this false perception of there's more, there's enough to keep the line going, but, I hate saying you're louder than numerous, but it's true, like with the JLU fans, Martin says, how many of you shop at Kmart? On a regular basis, So, all right, next, did I answer the question? New versions of the 5-inch, do Hero and do do Drago Man and do Carnivus, it'd be cool to do them as 80s toys. But that's a whole other line, like Mini Masters. It'd be fun. Is there someone over here? Okay. So when the 4 Horsemen sculpted one of the guards to look like me, which was awesome, fun, surprise, the design said that I can name him, so I named him Lieutenant Spectre after the character I created as a kid, thinking I'm never going to ever get to do a Mighty Spectre character. Oh. And then when it came along that management said I could have one of those slots, and Terry has the other one. For Mattel. Where's my slot?
Where's the Mighty Martin? I don't see him anywhere.
So when I had the chance to actually do the Mighty Spectre, I was like, well, we can't have 2 guys named Spectre. So why don't we just, when we sat down with the writing team, I said, well, why don't we just make the Mighty Spectre that guard, and we can have a story of how he goes from being a guard to becoming the heroic master of time travel. Much like everyone else is the heroic master of something. So, that's basically he's based on a character I created as a kid. He was a character I sent into the vintage contest. When I was 12, I sent him into Marvel and got a nice form letter, rejection letter.
That's what happened.
That's what happened. But yeah, I was 12 years old when I sent him in. I can't believe I didn't keep a copy, too, of the drawing I sent to them. I was looking for it. But I have the rejection letter still. It's a form letter that just said, my name was, on a blank. It said, Dear blank, Scott. Thank you for your submission to Marvel. It had a nice picture of Spider-Man on the bottom. He's, if you've seen in the case, he actually does have 2 other accessories that aren't done yet, the laser whip and the laser knife, that I think will make him a lot more exciting. He does. I understand people thinking he looks a little plain, but it's because he doesn't have this big, giant, aggressive whip on yet. It's still being sculpted. But I think he's going to fit in nicely. I think once you learn a bit more about him, that hopefully people will come to embrace him and welcome into the world of Masters. Back there.
What's the gold ring that you put out on the cap?
Ah, it's a accessory to a future something something.
Ooh.
Yeah. Bonus for PowerCon attendees. What was that? You should be able to recognize what it is. If you don't recognize what it is, then you should. It's something exists. You know, reference for it is out there. So
if we tell you, we have to kill you.
yes, you should be able to. If you're only calling it a gold ring, you haven't done your research.
Keep reading the bios.
No, go back and watch old cartoons and read old stuff. It's not something we made up. It's not new. It's an existing thing. It's an existing magical object. Put it that way. Yes.
The Masters Universe Hot Wheels. We've heard there's a 4-pack coming out. Do you have any word on that? And are there going to be any additional ones afterwards? Do you know?
Have you talked to Mark about those?
No, I know they're doing them. I just don't know the
Yeah, that's actually not us. Technically, I hate to pull the like it's not our department, but we worked with the Hot Wheels group on like helping get them art and suggesting which cars were appropriate. But we don't.
It gets a little iffy with Hot Wheels. I worked on Hot Wheels many years when I was there, and especially with diecast, because they have certain tools, right, and that they keep on redecoing, so the different tools get reused. So they have X amount of tools that they have per year, and I'm not even talking about global. You know, they're domestic and globally. So there's certain tools that are available. So those tools, they can be used, and that's, it's just deco. It's basically the tools available and the deco that we give them, or the deco that they give them.
Okay. Mark, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I realize it's 1 o'clock. Is the next panel here? Are they ready?
It's over.
Yeah?
We're getting thrown out.
Yeah, we're getting thrown out. Thank you, guys.